Alright people, what is happening? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2021 My Team series here on the channel. Today is the Russian Grand Prix. Controversial one, but we are getting into this today because why not? It's a game, do you know what I mean? Me not doing this race would do absolutely nothing. Let's not talk about that though. Let's get into our season. So far, it's been a great battle between me and Lewis Hamilton for this Drivers' Championship title. Here in Season 4, you can see there's 4 races left. The gap between me and Lewis at the top of the championship is just 15 points. If you did miss the last race in Monza, make sure you go back and check that one out. Can we make it 3 wins in a row with a win here in Russia today? That would be ideal. We pretty much just need to win every race till the end of the season and we win the Drivers' Championship. So hopefully we can do that today here in Russia. Getting into the race though, if you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this F1 video, you should be subscribed already because it's season 4 of the My Team series and it's race like 13 out of 16. So if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Try and get us to 10 likes. We never hit it anymore. We skip Q1 as always with these videos now because it's just too easy. So we finished P2 in qualifying 1. Russia, definitely a place I've got a lot of pace around, I do find. I find this track very easy to do. And set a good timing. We're coming out in Q2 on the medium tyres to try and set that obviously fast lap that we need. Completely flat out, long run down into turn 1. So maybe even being in pole position isn't ideal in Russia because there's a long run down to that 100-metre board for the braking zone for turn 1. Technically turn 2, I don't know if they count the kink in the straight as a turn. Down this flat out right hander, very easy to lose the back end through here. Feels amazing when you have a wheel with force feedback doing that corner there, because the wheel is actually pushing back against you as you're turning into the corner because of the G-force. But yeah, very simple, straightforward track. Reminds me of like a go-kart track, I guess. I could see go-karts going around here because it's just so easy and simple. Not much elevation change apart from the very end of the track in sector 3. A bit sloppy coming out to that corner there from us. Braking at the white line on the floor, up into 4th gear on the exits. A lot of short shifting on the exits of corners here in Russia as well. But yeah, like I say, controversial one. Maybe some people would have wanted us to skip this race, but realistically, what's it going to do, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, so we're getting into this race today, fighting for a championship with our teammate Lewis Hamilton, and it is what it is. We'll never see the Russian GP on the calendar again for the foreseeable future, in my game or in real life. This might be even the last season of the F1 My Team series. There's also a new game coming out called F1 Manager, so let me know in the comments, would you want to see me play F1 Manager or F1 Game? I think that's what they're calling like this. So they're going to make this, like what you're watching now, that's called F1 Game, but then they're making one called F1 Manager, and I don't know what that includes or what that does, but yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that, which game you'd like to see. I probably won't get both. Callum Ilott going fastest in Q2 there, on soft tyres though. Just me, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen qualifying on the medium tyres to start this race on the medium tyres. Guan Yu Zhou out in P12 in the Ferrari, not a good drive for him. Daniel Ricciardo through to the Q3 shootout after missing out in Monza last time out. I didn't mention that last video. Daniel Ricciardo missed out on Q3 despite winning there in real life. So currently in a provisional P2 as we cross the line to start our final flying lap of this Q3 session. Can we get that provisional pole? Or, well, by the time we finish this lap, it would be actual pole because the checkered flag will be out. So can we get that pole position here in Russia? Like I say, it might not even be the best position to start in Russia because of how long the run down to turn 1 is. All those other cars behind you getting a slipstream and then sending it up the inside. Very nice and neat through the left-hander there, not losing the back end. It just feels so good when the tyres grip through that corner. And as we head to the end of sector 1, we just go up into the green in the delta, but set a purple sector by a few thousandths. That would have been, it literally just got into the green as the sector turned purple. 1.4 tenths up though on our time here, using a lot of the exit curb here to try and straighten the car out as we head into another harsh braking zone down to 3rd gear, up to 4th on the exit, down the DRS straight. Or, well, not really a straight is it, but it's still a straight. You're flat out for the majority of this track into a tricky braking zone here again. I always find this one hard to do and line up properly as we head under the bridge. Very nice clipping that apex there. Now here's like the only elevation change as we go up and then to the right. Can we keep it on the track and out of the wall? Yes, we can. 7/10 up in the Delta. Very nice and neat, clean lap. It looks like 2 corners left. There's one. Final corner, we cross the line, checkered flag is out. We go a second quicker, a whole second quicker on that lap. Very, very nice lap indeed. Is that good enough to beat Lewis Hamilton and get pole position here in Russia? Let's find out. It is good enough for pole position, boys. We are going to start in pole position here in Russia. 4/10s quicker than Lewis Hamilton, who is going to start P2 on the grid. Front row lockout for Sasuke Racing. Lewis Hamilton, the man we need to beat. The gap is 15 points in the Drivers' Championship. We need to convert this pole position to P1. Can we do it?
To Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. It's time to go racing then in the Sochi Autodrom, where the long run down to the heavy braking zone at turn 2 is one of 2 DRS zones around this 3.6-mile circuit. The other, of course, down into turn 13. 18 corners make up a lap here today, with an average speed somewhere in the region of 130 miles an hour. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's the owner-driver in pole position then, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Pierre Gasly and Ricciardo, Aitken, Joe, Fernando Alonso and George Russell. Ireland, they've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Lando Norris and Vettel, Stroll, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi and Yuki Tsunoda, Latifi, Tigtum, Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Like I did mention last episode, people, a few of our engine components are starting to wear out, but with only 4 races left in this season, I don't want to risk changing engine components and risking a DNF with engine failure, especially with how tight the championship is this season. Can we convert this pole position to a win here in Russia? It is lights out and away we go down. We get off to a great start, come across to the right to cover off our teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's actually lost 2 places from the start. Lewis Hamilton down to P4, Max Verstappen up into P2, Carlos Sainz on the soft tyres in P3. He's looking to make an impact down into turn 1. We get bumped in the back there through turn 1, bumping over the sausage curve as well as we come through this flat out left-hander. Can we keep our car straight and not lose the back end through here? Lewis Hamilton down in P4. What happened to Lewis Hamilton from the start there? Terrible start from our teammate Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz up into P3 on that softer compound of soft tyre. So he obviously got a great launch off the start. Here's on board with Hamilton from the start, and you can see it looks like he can't find his gear, just doesn't get off the line good at all. There goes Carlos Sainz, and of course Max Verstappen flying ahead of Hamilton there, and then he gets sandwiched up against the wall. He's got nowhere to go. Sainz on his right, Verstappen in front. It was actually Carlos Sainz, you saw there, he wobbled into the braking zone and went into the back of us. It was actually Carlos Sainz who went into the rear of our car there, moving under braking, which was very bizarre to see. Almost putting it in the wall there. What are we doing? It's lap 1. We've got 27 laps to go. We need to calm down. We're in P1. We're in a good place. We just need to get the car across the line, yeah, and not get overtaken, and we win this race. Sound like Will Buxton there, that's very obvious. If you finished in P1, you win the race. Drive to Survive style drama there. But, like I say, if we do get the car across the line in one piece without getting overtaken, we will win this race, and we need those points. Hopefully we can get the fastest lap point as well. Every point counts at this stage in the season, especially when the gap to the championship leader is only 15 points. So hopefully we can convert that into a win, and hopefully Hamilton loses even more places. Jack Aitken, the man behind Hamilton now in P5, I don't think he's really going to be a threat to Hamilton. You see he's over 1 second behind him, but maybe Sainz can battle with Lewis, not let him past, and then it allows me and Verstappen to get an even further gap ahead. Speaking of, now you can see Hamilton, he has just overtaken Sainz as I say that, but he's 6.6 seconds behind us, with Verstappen being 3 seconds behind us. We're only on lap 5, and I've put a 2.6 second gap to Max Verstappen, and the gap to Hamilton, who was getting held up by Carlos Sainz, 6 seconds, and Verstappen now 3.6 seconds. Hamilton makes that gap 5 seconds, so Hamilton still has some pace in him, as you can see. He's closed that gap by 1 second. Hamilton, the man on a mission to try and catch up to the top 2 again. He's going to eventually come into DRS of Verstappen. But there is a safety car out on lap 10 of this race, boys. Safety car deployed. It's been a while since we've seen a safety car. Very bizarre to see. Don't know what's happened. We'll have to go and check that out in the replays. Here's Callum Ilott in the Red Bull at the side of the track, facing the wrong way as certain cars go past him. Very weird to see. Here's a replay of the incident there as he comes up and then into the left-hander. And he just absolutely drops it. Absolutely drops it. Spins his car. Narrowly avoids contact with the wall there. Surprise. He did make contact with the wall. But yeah, Callum Ilott, and he's just parked on track. Not making any effort to try and rearrange himself, get back onto the track. So because he was just parked there, they deploy the safety car. Obviously, if a car just stops on track, they deploy the safety car. So that is why the safety car came out. Callum Ilott's lost every single place. He's down in P22 of this race now. So a bad race for the Red Bull man. Safety car coming in this lap on lap 12, and all that hard work we had to create the gap to Max Verstappen and to Lewis Hamilton just completely eradicated by Callum Ilott spinning out there. So we're going to have to try again to try and create that gap to Verstappen and Hamilton. Just making sure our tyres are up to temperature because the finish line is right here, so we go back racing right now, and then let's get on the throttle. Long run down into turn 1. Sorry. Can we try and keep Verstappen behind? Like I say, I mentioned this multiple times, massive slipstream for Verstappen. That's why we pull over to the right. He doesn't get a big impact or a big effect from that slipstream. We manage to stay ahead through turn 1. What we absolutely love to see. That Red Bull just doesn't have the straight line speed that we do, so luckily there we do manage to stay ahead, and we are putting in the gap already to Verstappen, 5/10 the gap. Lewis Hamilton now right on his gearbox, and that obviously at the end of this lap, the same lap that we've just restarted on, we've put in the 1 second gap that we need to avoid Verstappen getting DRS on us, which is absolutely huge. So we definitely do have the pace to beat the Red Bull here. It's just whether or not Lewis Hamilton can get past that Red Bull, and Hamilton can try and challenge us. Guan Yu Zhou and Ricciardo into the pits there for their first pit stop of the race, and probably their only pit stop of the race. George Russell and Mick Schumacher in P4 and P5, the two Williams cars running it in P4 and P5 in this race. That safety car must have messed up the order there. Now our tyre is 14 laps old, but we've still set 2 purple sectors through Sector 1 and Sector 2 here on lap 14 of the race. The gap to Lewis Hamilton, 2.5 seconds. Absolutely flying. We cross the line there. Is it a new fastest lap? It's not. We actually go 0.3 slower. Poor Sector 3 from us there, but still showing that we do have life in these tyres. 2 purple sectors on 14 lap old tyres is very nice to see indeed. Now lap 16, again, green Sector 1. Green Sector 2. I believe this is our in lap as well. We're coming into the pit. Verstappen nowhere to be seen in the top left because he has pit the previous lap before. Verstappen actually miles behind on the map. You can see him. He's just coming to the end of Sector 2. We come into the pits now though. Hopefully we have a clean pit stop. Lewis Hamilton, our teammate, has to stay out, of course, for one more lap. He'll probably be boxing the lap after. I didn't know whether to box behind that safety car earlier on. But it was only lap 10. I could have went onto the hard tyres and gone to the end of the race. 17 laps on hard tyres would have saved them a bit behind the safety car, but decided to stay out and go with the soft tyres. Speaking of, another safety car has been deployed, boys, while we're in the pits. There is the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. I think we've just seen there the Canadian flag on the helmet. Lance Stroll, let's see what happened to him. Coming down the back straight here. Mick Schumacher there in the Williams. Lance Stroll just behind him, racing with Mick Schumacher, and he just drops it and spins it, but it's on the other side of the track to where we saw his car. So let's see what actually happened. So Lance Stroll on the throttle into the barrier there at the side, absolutely spins it, and as he gets his car back on the track, he stops, waits for the Haas to go past, reverses, waits for the for Max Verstappen that actually was to go past, and then he just drives straight into the barrier, just parks on the apex, and there's Guan Yu Zhou into the side of him. Guan Yu Zhou in the Ferrari into the side of the Aston Martin. There goes Charles Leclerc around the outside, narrowly avoiding contact there. What a chaotic moment that is. But that means the safety car is out while we are in the pit lane, so there is no overtaking as we come out here. We're going to be stuck in a lot of traffic here, boys. This could be very risky and dangerous for our race. We are on brand new fresh soft tyres. We're going to come out in P10, just behind Dan Ticktum, and we can overtake the safety car and catch up to the queue. Don't know why Dan Ticktum. We almost go into the back of him there. What the hell is this guy doing, bro? You know what I mean? What is this guy doing? Dan Ticktum almost causing a collision there. We need to go and catch up to the safety car queue. We're going to be in P10 now. I thought our teammate Lewis Hamilton would have came into the pits there on that next lap, because he still hasn't pit yet, but he's stayed out. Lewis Hamilton has stayed out, and he is the car in P1 behind the safety car. Don't know what on earth Lewis is thinking. Behind the safety car, you of course get the free pit stop basically, because of the time that you make up. Everyone's bunched up in a pack. Don't know why Lewis would not pit there. He's got to pit and change his compounded tyres. You have to pit at least once in a race. You can't go on a zero stop unless it's in wet conditions. The game's screwing us over here. This is not me controlling the throttle right now. This is the game. And look how far ahead Dan Ticktum's got. So obviously we catch up to Dan Ticktum and the queue there. We gained one place because somebody did come into the pits. I think it was George Russell. Max Verstappen down in P11. But as we go green, get a good jump on Dan Ticktum there. We're going to absolutely blitz the Haas car down into turn 1. Nicholas Latifi in front of us. The good thing about where we are is that all the cars in front of us are very stinky. You can see there Latifi, the next car to try and take on. We aren't that close to him actually, so hopefully we can clear all these cars, get back to the front of the pack as quickly as possible, and it doesn't cost us our race. You know, we've got 7 laps left in this race here. We need to start making moves. There goes a move up the inside of Nicholas Latifi, and he has been cleared. Latifi in the Alfa Romeo. Next car in front, Christian Lundgaard in the Alpine. Another very slow man in a very slow car. And you can see just how fast we are compared to him coming out of that corner there. Up the inside, almost a bit of contact as he turns in on us. We're up into P6 though. Great start already, clearing 3 cars from the safety car restart. The next man is Antonio Giovinazzi. We're going to go around the outside, but look at Giovinazzi there, defending hard. I don't know why. He nearly pushed us into the wall there, nearly caused a collision. Antonio Giovinazzi, Italian Jesus, what are you thinking, mate? Absolute lunatic. Just get out the way. You're not racing us. We're up into P5. Jack Aitken and Pierre Gasly up in P3 and P4. Those two had a great race in Monza last time out, and now they're up in P3 and P4 here in Russia. So maybe Pierre Gasly can get on the podium. One of my favourite drivers in real life. There goes Lewis Hamilton into the pits now on lap 20 of 27 as we start lap 21. Hamilton just coming into the pits with 6 laps to go here. Hamilton going onto soft tyres. He's going to be 20 seconds behind us, boys. Is Lewis Hamilton out of this race? Has he made a bad strategy call? He should have came in. There we go up the inside of Jack Aitken, interrupt ourselves there, but no. Almost contact with Aitken there. Lucky to not lose our front wing as Jack Aitken turned in. A very ambitious move for me to try and go up the inside. But yeah, back to what I was saying about Hamilton. Hamilton should have came in when the safety car came out. You know, he had that opportunity. He would have been right at the back of the pack, but up the inside now, very late on the brakes. That is a great move to stay on the track there on the exit as well, and get past Jack Aitken finally. Carlos Sainz, the man running in P1. Pierre Gasly, the man in P2. Carlos Sainz 2 seconds ahead. We have 6 laps left in this race here. We are on new soft tyres that we have just came in for. Perfect timing on the safety car really for when our pit stop was. We were literally in the pits when the safety car came out. But yeah, we're on those fresh soft tyres. Gasly and Sainz running on fairly old medium tyres, I want to say. Can we catch these guys? We've already caught up to Pierre Gasly. Purple in sector 2. Trying to keep that fastest lap points. Lewis Hamilton is on brand new fresh soft tyres. So maybe Lewis Hamilton might have something to say about that fastest lap points. As long as we can try and set a faster time on our soft tyres, you know, we have nothing to worry about. Now we have a little look up the inside there of Pierre Gasly. Would have been a bad move to try and overtake there. I've mentioned it many times. It's a massive run down into turn 1. May as well stay behind Gasly, set the fastest lap of the race, and get DRS. Now this is where experience comes into races like this. We stay behind Gasly there instead of sending up the inside, which gives us DRS down this straight and a slipstream down into the braking zone. We get past Pierre Gasly, but up into P2. Carlos Sainz, the only man separating us from a race win here in Russia. Max Verstappen is actually taking the fastest lap point away from us now as well. This is where the experience comes in, like I said. We had DRS on Gasly and a slipstream on Gasly. We're going to get a slipstream from Carlos Sainz now down to this next corner. We could have maybe tried to send one up the inside there, but I'm playing the patient game. Purple in sector 1, bit of a wobble on the exit there. Playing the patient game yet again. Carlos Sainz covers the inside there, compromising his line, going slow through that corner, but we go around the outside, trying to put a bit of a gap between us and Sainz. I don't want to be right on his gearbox and risk a crash. But here is why I keep mentioning the experience. I knew there was another DRS zone coming up, and as you can see there, we get the DRS open and just absolutely fly past Carlos Sainz. Purple through sector 1. As we come towards the end of sector 2, it's going to be green through sector 2. We had DRS and slipstreams through this whole lap. And I knew that we needed something special to take that fastest lap point away from Verstappen and the possibility of getting it away from Lewis Hamilton. So, coming through sector 3, it looks a bit sloppy, but we had a massive slipstream from Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly earlier in the race, and 2 moments of DRS. Is it going to be good enough to set the fastest lap point back at this race? And it is going to be. We take the fastest lap point back from Max Verstappen with 4 laps left to go here in Russia. We've put a gap to Carlos Sainz of 1.3 seconds. He's not going to be able to threaten us unless these tyres really fall off towards the end of the race, and we are really pushing them to try and set those fastest laps, to try and set those fast sectors. Really pushing every bit of life in these tyres, but Carlos Sainz not going to be able to catch us. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton not going to be able to threaten us with the fastest lap point either. We're going to be in P1, 7 seconds ahead of P2 and P3, coming through this final sector now, just keeping it neat, keeping it on the track, keeping it out the wall. Lap 27 of 27, 2 corners left, boys. What a race this has been. The checkered flag falls and we take the race win here in Sochi.
Inshallah.
Superb driving. That's the race win.
Things you absolutely love to see. What a race that was. And I didn't expect this to be a good race. You know, once we got that pole position, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be in first the whole race. There's going to be no highlights. But 2 safety cars, absolutely crazy race. Perfect strategy the way it worked out for us. We got so lucky. Let's see where our teammate finished. That is absolutely huge for the championship. Let's find out where our teammate finished. I think it was Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly there on the podium with us. Things you absolutely love to see. 2 of my favourite drivers in real life. So good to be sharing a podium with the 2 of them. Sainz in the Mercedes here in our My Team Series. Pierre Gasly still in that AlphaTauri. We win the race here though. Remember, the gap to Hamilton was 15 points in the championship. Let's see where Hamilton finishes this race with his bad strategy call, and see where we end up in the championship. Have we overtaken Lewis Hamilton? Let's find out, boys. Let's find out. Lewis Hamilton finishes P8 in the championship, or in this race, sorry. We finish 22 points ahead of him. That is absolutely massive, and there is some more news to come.
The Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. With that result, the sport's newest team can no longer be touched at the top of the table. What an incredible journey this has been for a team many had written off a short time ago. They are Formula One World Champions.
So we've actually won the Constructors' Championship, boys. It's been confirmed. With 3 races left in the season, we finish 181 points ahead of Red Bull and win the Constructors' Championship. And look at that, we take the lead in the Drivers' Championship for I think the first time this season. 7 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. Just 7 points separating me and Lewis. This is going to come right down to the wire. There's 3 races left. Mexico, Brazil and Jeddah. Are we going to see a repeat of last minute drama here in our My Team season? In last minute drama being Abu Dhabi, but of course Abu Dhabi is not in our calendar. I mean, there was controversial moments in Jeddah as well. Will we see the same thing? Who knows? Hopefully we can go out and win the Mexican GP and the Brazilian GP, and I think if we do that, we actually win the Drivers' Championship. So all to play for with 3 races left to go in this season. You don't want to miss a video in this season, boys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like, comment, share and subscribe. You know the vibes. I will catch you next time. Take it easy.